Good day and welcome to all the viewers joining us. Once a year we wait upon for this big race day. The entire racing fraternity comes to a standfield. The World Sports Betting Cape Town Met Grade 1. Really looking forward to the day's proceedings. With me is Graham Hawkins and Raheel. Welcome, Graham.
Thank you, Sheldon. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful day's racing of the highest quality.
100%. Raheel, nice to be here. Looking forward to the day's proceedings.
Absolutely, Sheldon. As Graham mentioned, it's going to be a good day's racing, and I'm looking forward to these feature races as well.
Let's get straight into the action. Race number 6, the Cape Racing Politician Stakes. It's grade 3. This will be run over the 1800 meter trip, and this is where they start to show their true potential. As you can see on the slide there, race number 6, and then we'll go on to the replays. And having a look at the replays, we're going to take a look at Zapatilis at Kenilworth on the 18th to the 12th, when finishing back in that 4th position. Now, Graham, when they jump out the gate, Zapatilis probably a half a length slow to go.
Yeah, he didn't break as quickly as Pomp and Power, but Pomp and Power really flew out of the starting gate, so maybe gave an impression that Zapatilis was a little slow into stride, but he gets himself into a pretty decent position, does Zapatilis. And from there, really no excuses. There were many excuses. This was, of course, the Cape Guineas. There were many excuses for a lot of the runners, but I'm not sure that Zapatilis, as you can see, as they go further, he's dropping further behind.
Coming to the last 450 metres, Raheel, you can see he starts to weave his way towards the inside to make his run.
Yes, he may have just found himself too far back on the day and just had a bit too much of ground to make up. But I feel with a slightly better draw, even though it is wide on this occasion, he probably could be a lot closer. But as we can see, he did make up some decent ground. But the winner, second place, also a bit too good for third and fourth on the day.
A number of these horses are going to come on leaps and bounds, so there could be a form reversal in this type of race. So obviously we'll look very, very close at the replay, and when they come past the line you can see Zapatilis, Universal. I had a chat to the Marcus team and they're quite happy with Universal. He's come on leaps and bounds and he must be a huge contender, Graham.
Yeah, he had a rough race, a rough passage in the Guineas, that's for sure. Just going back to Zapatilis, the one factor that may have counted against him on the day in the Guineas was the fact that he was forced to go right down the inside. The going did seem to be a little better on the outside, on the stand side of the track, but barring that, he had pretty much every chance. He had Universal behind him, but Universal was interfered with. But that being said, there shouldn't be too much to choose between Universal and Zapatilis. Both step up to the 1800 metres and both give the impression that they'll be well suited by the extra journey.
Number 6, Pakaya, as we have a look at the field there. You can see number 1, Zapatilis from the Brett Crawford stable. Louis Mkotwa, nice to get the ride. Never Ending Rain, Universal, Xavier number 4, number 6, Pakaya. Now this is a horse I've got some keen interest in. He opened up 5-1 and the money has not stopped for him.
One has to bear in mind that he now races off a merit rating of 108. So his race rating in this race is actually not what it says in many of the published form guides. It's actually 102. So he's rated to win this and weighted to win it comfortably. The weights for this race were framed before the running of the Lawrence Queen's Plate. He ran an absolute cracker in the Lawrence Queen's Plate, and his rating has been increased to 108. For many, he is a standout bet on the day. If he gets the 1800, no reason to suggest he won't. Could be a heck of a day for the Stallion Trippy. If Jet Dark wins the Met and Pakaya wins the Politician Stakes. But yes, he must rate the one to beat.
Number 7, Senso Unico from the Vaughan Marshall stable. I had a chat with Vaughan Marshall. He said he's come on tremendously well from his last run. Raheel, where do you see him fitting in the category?
More for a quartet chance for me. He's run in merit rated 80 and 82 handicap, so not the likes that Pakaya, Universal and Zapatilis has taken on, so more for back end of quartet chance, Sheldon.
Let's get to the speed map. We're going to have a look at the speed map and see the prediction, how they see the outcome of this event. So let's take a look at the speed map and see if they're going to be spot on target as they dart past the line. And number 6, Pakaya, well, I'm hoping they're right from the 9, the 5 and the 7. Graham, it looks to be a length and a half separating the first quartet.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a close finish to the race. These are all obviously 3-year-olds. It's the traditional Cape Derby trial. So many of these horses are looking to put their hands up for the Derby at the end of February. I don't think there's going to be dominance by any runner. Tactics are going to play a role, no question. The pace will play a role, no question about that. I think the principal runners are obviously Zapatillas. I do respect Never Ending Rain. Universal, of course, is the half-brother to Vardy, so he's got a wonderful pedigree. Pakaya, I think those are obviously the principal contenders.
Thanks very much, Graham. Now we're going to have a look at the Dlala slide. Number 6, Pakaya, is my first selection. To beat home, number 1, Zapatillas. Number 3, Universal. And then I'm going to end with number 7, Senso Unico. Dlala's selection is a win on 6, Pakaya. Now, I've gone into Pakaya with a couple of doubles, so I'll be hoping that he can rise to the occasion. He's just given me the impression that his Guineas run was a run to bring him along. He then ran in the Laurent's Queen's Plate, so I think he's going to be spot on for the day, Graham.
There's no question about that, and of course we're expecting a mammoth Pick 6 pool. Starts with a carryover of 3 million. We're expecting the Pick 6 pool to reach 10 million rand. Of course, we've got the Hong Kong World Pools from races 4 through to 11. And for many, Pakaya shapes up as a potential banker. Bankers is the name of the game when structuring your Pick 6. So for many, Pakaya is a banker, and there are other opportunities in the card. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the plans for the Pick 6 pan out. But I'm going to go a little wider than bankering Pakaya, but I do make him the one to beat.
Let's go through your selections. You can give the viewers your rundown of your top 4.
Well, there we go. Not much different to yours. I've got number 6, Pakaya, who of course gets 3 kilograms from his major rivals, but is now the highest rated runner in the race, following his very good run in the Laurent's Queen's Plate. So it's his race to lose. Vardy's half-brother, number 3, Universal, is my second selection. My third choice is number 2, Never Ending Rain, very, very consistent. And my fourth choice, number 1, Zapatillas. I think I'm going to bank a Pakaya in one of my Pick 6s and put all 4 of those in another. But yes, like you, I'm going for a win on number 6, Pakaya.
And then Rahil, let's get your vote of confidence.
Well, unlike you guys, I'm in Zapatillas' camp. I think he's slightly better drawn in gate 10. I don't think he's going to be too far off the action. So I've gone for Zapatillas as my top choice. Second choice in the race is the 3, Universal. He's neatly drawn in gate 1, and I think the trip is going to be a bonus for him, so he will be right there. Then the 6, Pakaya, who you and Graham quite like quite a bit, and I think he will be there at the business end of things, but I just prefer Zapatillas and Universal ahead of him. And then in 4th, I think Xavion from the Candice Bass Robinson yard. He's a horse that I think he can start to show a bit more stepping up in trip. The Dlala selection, Zapatillas, so hopefully he can get the job done.
There we go, Zapatillas. Graham and I in the camp of Pakaya. So let's see how things map out for the viewers out there and maybe take some swingers and exactors. We'll move on to the next feature race event, which is race number 7. In the 7th race, the Pongrax Cape Flying Championship. Weight for age, it's grade 1 over the 1,000 meter trip. And this promises to be an absolutely flying contest. They're going to jump out the gates. They're going to be a board of speed. A number of fancied horses who've got the gate speed. And horses like Rio Karori, they're going to be charging through later on. So what an exciting 1,000 meter contest. Let's go to some replays. We've got Rio Karori when finishing second on the 4th of the 12th, and also Winter Hello at Turfentine on the 9th of the 12th when winning. As they bounce out the gates, Rio Karori is drawn towards the outside, takes a seat in behind them, and his stablemate Casimir is showing good speed along with Real Gone Kid. And Graham, interesting, they've gone with blinkers on Real Gone Kid. I see the latest change.
Yeah, this is a very interesting replay because obviously the Pongrax Cape Flying Championship promises to be a rematch between Rio Karori and Real Gone Kid. Real Gone Kid is in front. Now you can see Rio Karori starting to reel him in. But I think he was a little bit lazy. It was his first run of the season. It looks a match race in the Pongrax Cape Flying Championship as it was there. And but at the weight turnaround and perhaps Rio Karori stripping a little fitter, he may be able to reverse the order. But here's Hello Winter Hello.
Hello, Winterlo, quite an interesting runner. Just having a look at the best weighted column, a 119, so is well off Rio Karori and Bahika. So he's a horse more than likely going to be running into the places and just looking to go through towards the inside.
Very well experienced at Kenilworth. We mustn't forget that she started her career in the Western Cape. She's won 5 times at Kenilworth, so she knows what it is to race down in the Western Cape. She's certainly been in terrific form on the Highveld, and she looks so well.
Raheel, final comment?
Yes, absolutely. I agree with Graham. She's been impressive in both her wins in the Highveld to date, and returning to Cape Town, I think she's going to enjoy it with Keegan de Mello in the saddle. He won nicely on her last time out, so I think she could possibly be the horse to upset them, but I just feel more of the value in the race at around 12, 14 to 1.
There we go. So Raheel looking for some value in the contest as we have a look at the slide. Number 1, Rio Karori, the best weighted runner. Grant van Niekerk for Justin Snaith. Number 2, Bahika. Number 3, Casimir. Interesting, the blinkers go back on number 4, Real Gone Kid. And then number 6, Bereave. I had a chat to Adam Marcus. Might be a little bit on the sharp side these days because they're going to absolutely fly up front.
The pace is certainly going to be on, and it's going to be interesting. Real Gone Kid doesn't necessarily have to go to the front. I mean, we've got Stranger Danger, we've got Bohica, and I think the last thing that Anton Marcus would want to do is cut throats with those horses up front. So we could well see Real Gone Kid take a little bit of a seat, but the pace is certainly going to be on, to your point. It's going to be interesting to see just how far behind Rio Karori is with 400 metres to go, and he's obviously going to have to weave his way through the traffic. So the challenge for Grant van Niekerk is to make sure that he has an uninterrupted run. But back to Bereave, the stable believe his chances would be better if it was 1100, 1200, but I think that in the case of Bereave and Captain Fontaine, and possibly Hello Winterlo, they're going to be running on very strongly in the closing stages. Whether they can get the head in front in time, only the race will show, but they certainly should be doing their best work late.
Raheel, we were having a chat this morning about the speed in the race, and there certainly lacks no pace in this race.
Absolutely, Sheldon. Rio Karori is going to get the perfect toe into the race, and he's going to be running on powerfully at the business end of things, and he's the likely winner of this race. As Graham mentioned earlier, he would have needed that comeback run. He's going to strip a much fitter horse. It's been 56 days since that last run, and he is 3 kgs obviously better off at the weights with Real Gone Kid, so he should comfortably turn the form around.
Let's get to the speed map and see if they're going to go in our order. And as they hit the line, number 6 is going to get up, it looks like, from the 1, the 4, and then we're going to wait for the judges with the 2 closest to us. So this is going to be one for the judge, Graham.
Well, I don't see it ending up that way. I think they've got about 10 horses covered within 2 lengths. This is not a handicap race. This is a weight for age race. But I'm not going to say they're wrong, because Bereave certainly comes into the race with terrific form and could finish his race off really well. For the exotic players, they're betting it as a match race. They're betting 12 to 1 by the 2 runners. Rio Karori, obviously the firm favourite. Real Gone Kid are very much alive as a second choice in the market at around 5 to 2. From a punter's perspective, you've got a choice to make. You get to go just the 2 and not look for the upset. If you start looking for the upset, then the potential upsets is quite a long list. We've mentioned some of them, obviously. Casimir, Bereave, Captain Fontaine, Hello Winterlo, possibly even True to Life. Sound of Warning, if there's going to be an upset, the 3-year-old filly might well be the source of that upset. She's also very talented and good form, but to be frank, I think Rio Karori is a worthy favourite. I think he's going to win. I think he'll be too good on the day for Real Gone Kid, and I'm not looking for spooks in this race.
Raheel, are you a Rio Karori fan or a Real Gone Kid fan?
I'm all in the camp of Rio Karori. Like Graham said, I think he's a horse that they all have to beat in this lineup, and for me, he's going to possibly be my banker on the day.
The word is from the Justin Snaith camp that he's come on leaps and bounds from that comeback run, so you would expect with the weight turnaround and with that run under the belt for him to change the form around.
Yeah, and chatting to Michelle Wing, she does wonderful previews, goes all the way down to Cape Town to put those previews together for us, and to get up close and personal with the trainers and with the horses. And Justin only had good things to say about Rio Karori. Some may say, well, this is his second run after a rest, but I think in the case of sprinters, I think he would have needed that first run just a little. He didn't run far below his best. They have high regard for Real Gone Kid, and giving him 3 kilos, it wasn't an easy task. Real Gone Kid was fully match fit. And so, yeah, I'm in Rahil's camp. I'm in Rio Carrari's camp.
I like the fact that he's had the 56 days between the first run to the second run, so you can more or less take out that second run after the rest syndrome, as you mentioned.
I'm sure he's done plenty of positive work back at home, and he'll be stripped and ready on the day.
Let's get to our final selections, give you our top four, and then the Delilah bet. And I'm in the camp of number 1, Rio Carrari. So all three of us, we all big on number 1, Rio Carrari, to turn the tables on number 4, Real Gone Kid, the up-and-coming kid in the game, ahead of number 3, Casimir, and number 7, Captain Fontaine. And as you can see from my optimism there, the win bet is number 1, Delilah bet, win bet on number 1, Rio Carrari. And on to you, Graham.
Well, we're not going to differ very much here. The Pongrats Cape Flying Championship, number 1, Rio Carrari, from number 4, Real Gone Kid. The old man always has to be respected. Number 3, Casimir. 1,000 meters is clearly too sharp for him these days, but you know, you can't ignore him entirely, and I think Bereave might well run on best of the others. Confident with Rio Carrari, looks a match race as far as the exotics are concerned. But I'm inclined to even possibly consider Rio Carrari as a banker.
Rahil, we're all in the same camp.
Yes, we certainly are, Sheldon. I've gone with Rio Carrari as my top choice. The 4, Real Gone Kid in second place. He does obviously look to be the danger. Then Hello Winter Hello, who is in superb form up in the Highveld. She comes back to the province where she first started racing, so I think she will be there. And then Bereave, as Graham mentioned, he could possibly be running on strongly at the business end of things and get a quartet chance.
That's our selections as far as this race goes. We all Rio Carrari, we all in, so we are suggesting banker him. Like Graham mentioned, if you go against the top 2, then you've got to go as wide as your budget will allow. We'll then move on to the Grade 1 Schweppes Majorca Stakes, weight for age over 1,600 meters. This is for the up-and-coming fillies. Without any further ado, let's go to Captain's Ransom and see what all the rave is about. We'll go to the 8th of January, the Paddock Stakes. That was over 1,800 meters. And this will give you a good indication of how close they got to Captain's Ransom. Looking at Captain's Ransom, on that occasion, she jumped from a good draw. This time round, slightly trickier gate.
She was trying 1,800 meters for the first time in the Paddock Stakes, and she took a while to settle down. She comes right to the outside. Chansonnet is making her run towards the inside. She's a keeper, threatened for a little while. Marina comes storming home. Princess Caller's got a length or so to make up on Captain's Ransom, gets to within 3/4 of a length on her. Marina's finishing best of all, but Captain's Ransom showed tremendous courage to dig down deep and prevail on the outside. Might have been a different story had the race been 1,825 meters.
There we go, a little bit of that time extra distance or a little bit less distance suits some, not suits others. Rahil, Captain's Ransom, are you in the same camp that the price is a little bit skinny? Looking at that replay, Chansonnet, big improver?
Yes, certainly. Chansonnet, I think you got to respect her. She's back over the 1,600 meter trip, a trip that she's unbeaten over 2 from 2. So 55 on her back, she's a horse that needs to be respected. But I make the main danger to Captain's Ransom, the 2, Zarina, with Aldo Domea aboard. She has a third run after a rest plus 3, starts read 2 from 2. So I think she's possibly the horse to give Captain's Ransom the most cheek in this race.
Having listened to Michelle Wing's insert about number 2, Zarina, Candice Bass-Robinson, she was quite upbeat of a big performance. And I remember calling her victory 3 runs back when she came torpedoing through to beat Princess Keller. And on that performance, it brings them all right into the equation, Graham.
Yes, that was the Johnson's Workwear Garden Province Stakes, where obviously Captain's Ransom disappointed, but it was not her run to draw lines through that. But clearly precious little to choose between Zarina and Princess Keller. Princess Keller deserves to win a Grade 1. Zarina's achieved that. Captain's Ransom's achieved that. Chansonnet's achieved that by beating Desert Miracle in the Fillies Guineas over this track and trip. So of this quartet, the only one that hasn't won a Grade 1 is Princess Keller. She's been the bridesmaid far too many times. She could certainly win this, but it's very competitive between these 4 fillies. Very little to choose between them.
Rahil, I had a chat to Adam Marcus, and he mentioned that this is her trip for 1,600. She's been beaten by Captain's Ransom. 3rd run after the rest. He couldn't have her better.
Yes, I'm sure that she must be in a good space. She is yet to win over 1600, which is my concern. She's won over 12 and 1400 meters. So we'll see how she does go in this lineup. She was finishing strongly last time out when just touched off by Captain's Ransom, but I think she's a horse to include into those quartets. She doesn't form part of my top 4 selections, but definitely a horse to include into trifectas and quartets.
What do you make of number 4, She's a Keeper? Listening to Paddy Crayer, she moved up dangerously and she just seemed to shorten her stride that last 150.
Yes, I was a bit disappointed with the run last time out. I thought that she'd go a lot closer and finish better than the 5th position that she did on that occasion. I thought the trip was ideal. It was a 3rd run at Kenilworth, in the province, so I was expecting a lot better, but Bernard Fairherb retains the ride. She's neatly drawn in gate 3 over the 1600 meters, and I think that she's a filly that will be there at the finishing end. Whether she can win this race, I'm not quite sure if she can get the better of Captain's Ransom, Serena, and possibly Chansonnet, but the race shall tell.
Before we give our selections, let's go to the speed map and see if the speed map is on target or they're going to be off target as they go to the line. Number 4, She's a Keeper. So there we go. She's a
Ray
Keeper.
Hill did these speed ratings, so I don't think... Look, She's a Keeper. I think he's just below them, to be honest with you. She'll need all 4 to fluff their lines to win this. It's clearly a possibility that one of the 4 or even 2 of the 4 may not perform to their best on the day, and that'll allow She's a Keeper to fill one of the minor placings. She's a very, very good filly. She's honest as the day is long, but personally I do not put her in the class of the other 4, so she needs all 4 to fluff their lines for her to win, in my opinion.
And as far as the speed map goes, Captain's Ransom, the punters aren't going to be happy with that speed map.
Well, I'm not quite sure who does the speed map or how it's calculated, but I'm happy to bet against the speed map.
There we go. That's a look at the speed map. Now we'll get on to our top 4 selections and our Dlala bet for this event. And I'm going to go with number 1, Captain's Ransom, but I don't believe she's a betting proposition. As Graham mentioned, around even money, 11 to 10. I think that number 3, Princess Cal's a big runner. 4, She's a Keeper, and number 8, Chansonnet. But number 4, She's a Keeper for the speed map. I hope they're right for the places because I think she's a decent place proposition. Now, Graham, let's hear your thoughts.
Well, I've gone with Captain's Ransom. As I said to you, I would. I make it a 4-cornered contest. Those are the 4 fillies. I'm not in any way going to leave any of those 4 out as far as the jackpots and the pick 6s are concerned. So number 1, Captain's Ransom to win it, despite the wide draw. She did have a tough race in the Paddock Stakes. That's the one little worry that I have in the back of my mind, was whether or not that race might have taken something out of her. But if you listen to Justin Snaith chatting to Michelle Wing, then he certainly allays all of those fears. He believes she's better now than she was then. 3, Princess Cala for 2nd. The Garden Province Stakes winner number 2, Zarina for 3rd. The Fillies Guineas winner number 8, Chansonnet for 4th. As I said, I can't find a spot for She's a Keeper. So my suggested bet is a boxed quartet, 1, 2, 3, and 8. And that's not a result that's going to please you guys.
Rahil, you're going to be on the opposite side of the camp.
I've gone with Captain's Ransom as my top choice in this race, followed by Zarina, then Chansonnet, and She's a Keeper. I've gone with the win for Captain's Ransom. Obviously, she is a bit short in the market, but I feel towards race time she will drift out and get to a better price. Possibly you could also play the exactors and swingers with the 1 Captain's Ransom and the 2 Zarina, but I make it Captain's Ransom and Zarina's race in this lineup.
That's a look at our selections, the 3 of us in studio. We're all going with Captain's Ransom. She's tried, she's tested, achieved at the highest level. She's of top class ability. So let's see how Captain's Ransom goes on the day. We then move on to the big one, the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met Grade 1 over the 2,000 meter trip. And fasten your seatbelts, 17:10. That's the time they will exit the machine. 2,000 meters is the distance. And having a look at the contest, we've got some top individuals here. We got the Vodacom Durban July winner, Kometi Ding. We got Do It Again. We got some real good horses, Linebacker, Jet Dark, of course, Double Superlative. The list doesn't end there. So this is going to be an absolute scorcher of a race. We're going to have a look at the horse double superlative when winning over the trip last time out, 18th to the 12th. Let's take a look at double superlative. Anton Marcus getting down to 54 kgs. And Graham, that says a lot.
Yeah, obviously Anton really believes that he was a worthy Guineas winner, that he's one of the leading horses, 3-year-olds in the country. Justin believes he's the best and there's no reason not to. So here we're watching Jet Dark actually, and not double superlative. So let's get back to Jet Dark. They swung the order of our race replays. This is him winning, going down towards the inside. This is the Lawrence Queen's Plate, Rainbow Bridge coming through on the outside, Comedy Dung, and Jet Dark down towards the inside. But Jet Dark, my goodness, he just ran away from them in the closing stages. This was the win. This was just sensational.
Unbelievable stuff. Now we'll go into double superlative, so that could be the offer in the making. He jumped mid-gate, and of course he was razor sharp to get into a decent striking position.
Both obviously the same silks, those of
Jet
Mr.
Dark.
Nick Johnson. As you can see, from a wide draw, they had the false trail out very deep that day, which I kind of think took something away from the Guineas. There was quite a lot of interference, but Anton got him into a perfect position behind Pomp and Power. And after that, obviously he drifted out in the straight, causing a little bit of interference on his outside. But he certainly put the race to bed in the closing stages. Pomp and Power second, third and fourth horses coming through down the inside, Universal behind that further back. But considering how lightly raced double superlative was coming into the Guineas, that was a big, big run. And one could have forgiven the team for saying, we'll give the Met a miss and we'll go for the Derby, easy pickings in the Derby at the end of February. But it was interesting listening to Justin chatting to Michelle Wing. If you've got what you believe to be the best of your generation in your stable, then you've got to expose him, you've got to give him a go, and full marks to them. His presence adds a certain mystery, a certain unknown element to the race. 3-year-olds have a good record. Oh, Susanna won it while being a weight for age race. Obviously, the terms and conditions of the race were different earlier. Horse Chestnut, Badger's Coast, and so 3-year-olds have not often been represented, but he should make his presence felt. Only the race will show. Only the race will show as to whether he's good enough.
Now, Raheel, talking about horses like Horse Chestnut, he was the first 3-year-old, and I think 54 years to win. And then Oh Susanna also came through to cement that. So double superlative. We'll see how Universal, Pakaya, and the rest of them do earlier on. How do you see this race mapping out?
Well, touching on double superlative, I'm not quite sure what to make of his chances. He is neatly drawn in gate 3, but this is a massive step up in class. He takes on the older brigade in this lineup, and I'll see how he goes in this race. He's not a horse that I've included into my top 4 selections. Just willing to give him a watch and see how he does go. But if he is how they believe that the ability that he does have, then I think he will go close in this race.
Now, looking at the first few races, Graham, Anton has not taken a ride, and that's obviously due to riding 54 kgs. So that tells the tale itself.
Well, he rides obviously Princess Kala in the Majorca Stakes, but he's obviously wanted that gives him a chance to get into the right sort of racing mood. Although I'm sure he'll be delighted to win the Majorca Stakes with Princess Kala as well. Yeah, so he's had to take a weight, and he's had a mishap in the week. He fell off a horse at the beginning of the week at Kenilworth. He got badly kicked on his chin and his mouth. Some of us have seen photos of what that looks like, so that's why he's been medically indisposed so he's got to deal with this injury, he's got to deal with the weight loss. But if there's one man who can achieve all those things, he's a supreme professional, Anton Marcus. And he wouldn't be doing this if he didn't believe that double superlative had an outstanding chance of winning the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met. But even he will acknowledge that you're up against Linebacker, you're up against Comedy Dung, you're up against Jet Dark. Maybe a bit of a question mark as to whether Jet Dark will be as effective over 2,000 meters as he is clearly over 1,600 meters. And then obviously waiting in the wings, one never knows these days what Do It Again is going to arrive. Marina, many touting as a live wire. I need to see more from her. Great run in the Paddock Stakes, but she could be equal to the task.
Now, Raheel, Anton Marcus, he arrives on race day and he brings it through with military precision. So is it going to be his day?
It could be his day, as Graham mentioned, that Justin Snaith, they are fairly confident on double superlative chances, and as you said, Anton Marcus must know something to get down to the weight of.
Of course, he could come into this race off the back of 2 Grade 1 wins. I mean, Real Gone Kid could win, and Princess Kala could win. He could be going out on double superlative for the Met, having already won 2 Grade 1 races. So, you know, he could be on an absolute high by the time that comes.
Absolutely, and he'll be flying with confidence, and he'll probably definitely try and get 3 Grade 1s, but I don't quite see double superlative running into the winning position. Yeah.
Just looking at the anti-post betting, number 5, Kometi Ding at 33-10, 4 Jet Dark 7-2, 11 Double Superlative at 4-1, and number 6 Linebacker at 5-1. I did have a chat with Michelle Ricks, and she mentioned going into the Le Romans Queen's Plate, they had a slight mishap, but coming into this race, couldn't have him better, and that's my first selection.
He's done really well since the Lormans Queen's Plate. Again, thanks to Michelle Ricks for all the feedback. The issue they had on the morning of the Lormans Queen's Plate wasn't a soundness issue, it was more of a skin issue. But they ran him because they wanted him absolutely at his best for the Cape Town Met. It's a wonderful race. For me, it's a 4-cornered contest again. Top 3, Kometi Ding, Linebacker, Jet Dark. Like Rahil, not 100% sure what to expect from double superlative, but you have to throw him in. So for me, like it was, my stance with this race is exactly the same as it was with the Majorca Stakes. They're 4 horses. Jet Dark is my first choice, but I'm throwing all 4 into jackpots and pick sixes.
Rahil, I know you like a bit of Kometi Ding, and he has beaten Linebacker on many occasions, so it's going to be a terrific duel right down to the wire. And having a chat to Vaughan Marshall, he mentioned Linebacker, he's back to his best, he's absolutely flying back home. Where do you put Linebacker?
I think I give Linebacker a lively chance in this race. I think the key is that Grant van Niekerk is back in the irons. I didn't think Craig Zaki quite understood Linebacker the way Grant does. Grant's stats on him reads 5 rides, 3 wins, 1 second, 1 third. So he knows him a lot better. And I think Linebacker will be there at the business end of things.
But Kometi Ding, we've got the name right now, so hopefully he gets it right on the day.
Yes, hopefully. And I'm sure Gavin Larino will be flying with confidence. He's drawn 1, which certainly makes a huge difference. He's been drawn 8 and 18 in his last sort of 6 starts. So the draw turnaround certainly going to help his chances. He's going to be a lot more handy, I feel, than Kometi Ding. I think he's going to get the Cape Town Met.
There we go, Kometi Ding. He won the Vodacom Durban July. I believe he's even better going into this contest. And now let's hope the speed map finds the right wave home. Let's see what the speed map has to offer for us as they go down to the wire. Do it again. Do it again, Caddy. Do it again.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously on his best form, Do It Again would be a lively threat here. But his last run for me was disappointing, acknowledged as such by Justin Snaith. To come back from a run of that sort to win a race like this, 3 weeks later, not for me. As much as I love Do It Again, we all love him. He's a multiple Vodacom Durban July winner. We love him to bits, but not for me. So again, I've got to, in fact, the speed rating is not helping me. It's confusing me.
Rahil, now Do It Again. Of course, he's back-to-back Vodacom Durban July wins. He's an 8-time winner, almost 9 million rand in stakes. He's achieved at the highest level. He's a horse you're going to pass by?
No, not at all, Sheldon. Disappointing last run when he was strongly fancied in the market. He was a right horse on the day, but he disappointed his supporters. I think he must go into all bets in this lineup. He's got the ability, he's got the class. He might be a 7-year-old, but I think he can definitely go well. And like you mentioned earlier, maybe I'm the one who did do the speed map, Graham, because the top 4 on the speed map are the top 4 in my top 4 selections in the race. Not in that order, but I definitely do give Do It Again a lively chance.
Are you worried that it was reported that he was lame right for last time out, 21 days later, or would the beach sand have done in the world of good in the interim?
I think it would have done a world of good for him. I don't think Justin Snaith would run him here if he isn't 100% fit.
Well, Justin reports that he's absolutely sound. Absolutely sound.
That's good news for Do It Again fans. 7-year-old son of twice over, and he must be a lively contender.
Now let's get down to the business end of affairs, get to our top 4 selections. As we hit it, we're going with Kometi Ding, number 5 from the Crawford and Rick stable. That'll be my first selection. Ahead of number 11, Double Superlative, looking to become another 3-year-old winner of this event. Number 4, Jet Dark, and I have thrown in number 1, Do It Again. He's been the people's champion. You never write off these top class horses. He'll definitely be in the mix of things if he rises to the occasion. And looking for the Dlala bet, I've gone with the boxed exacta 1, 4, 5, and also number 11 in no particular order. Graham, yours?
Jet Dark, following the retirement of Rainbow Bridge, is our highest rated horse in the country. This is a weight for age race. The 2,000 metres, for everybody, I guess, is a little bit of a question mark, but he did win the Champions Cup early in his career over 1,800 metres. So I'm going with number 4, Jet Dark, to achieve the Lormans Queen's Plate Cape Town Met double. The last horse to do that was Futura. He's certainly an impressive looking individual. He's already a 3 times Grade 1 winner. He's got an exciting career ahead of him as a stallion, but certainly the Cape Town Met, sponsored by World Sports Betting, will be another impressive notch on his CV. Like I said, though, I'm not really splitting these top 4 when it comes to exotics. My second choice is number 5, Comedy Dung. My third choice, number 6, Linebacker. My fourth choice, number 11, Double Superlative. All 4 of those go into my jackpot and pick sixes. But as far as the bet is concerned, my Dlala bet, I think the swinger, not that you're going to get rich on it, but the swinger, 4 Jet Dark and 5 Comedy Dung, the first 2 home in the Lormans Queen's Plate. I think that's a pretty safe and sound swinger bet.
Raheel, they had the fairy tale story in the Vodacom Durban July. Will they have it come Saturday?
Hopefully, Gavin Larina and Michelle Ricks will be looking forward to Saturday, hoping for the best. He is my top choice in this lineup. A horse that we haven't touched on is Hoedspruit, who
running.
I just get the feel that Hoedspruit, he's improving with each run, and Louis Courtois is a horse that's riding full of confidence at the moment. So possibly Hoedspruit at an each way price at around 10, 12 to 1 in the market. Yes, he hasn't taken on this type of class before, but he's got the ability. He's a 4-year son of Legislate. The Falloons will be looking for a big day with Captain's Ransom earlier on. So Hoedspruit is my second choice, followed by Do It Again, who I think is a horse that you can't leave out at all. And around 10 to 1 is definitely a horse to include. And then Linebacker, who gets Ground for Nikak back in the irons, which is going to make a huge difference. And I've gone with the win and place on the 7 Hoedspruit, but Comedy Dung is my first choice.
Raheel going with Cometic Dung and Hoedspruit. Those are his top 2 selections. Now when we move to the speed map, if Hoedspruit does come out on top, then we know Raheel is definitely the man behind the scene.
Yeah, well, we saw that Do It Again was top of the speed map. I don't know where Hoedspruit was.
He was in 4th place.
Was he in 4th place? I think the speed map is Raheel's creation. I think that's his creation.
Radio, so that is looking forward to the terrific day's racing. That'll be a super event. Comedy Dung, Jet Dark, Do It Again, all the top guns, they'll be in action, and we'll keep a close eye on this event. And then rounding off proceedings will be the 2,800 metre event, the New Turf Carriers Western Cape Stayers. It's Grade 2, and this will be a test of stamina. So when looking at this event, it's going to be a horse who really sees out the 2,800 metres, and it all comes down to the pace of the race. And looking at race number 10, early betting, wide open betting market. So I think you've got to stamp your mark on your runner that you like, and then we'll take a close look and see exactly who comes out on top in this event. Now let's go through the field. We'll take a look at the field and see how they line up. Number 1 is Doublemint from the Justin Snaith stable. He'll be looking to go in again. He's a good stayer on his day. He's got number 2 Chrome Yellow to contend with, the likes of 3 Bayberry. We go down to 7 One-Way Traffic, and number 9 Sparkling Water. So really looking forward to the 2,800 metre event, and this is due off at 17:50. And when looking at this, let's go through the speed map and let's see what this has to produce. Number 2, Chrome Yellow from the Nell stable, the Andre Nell stable for Sabine Plattner and La Plaisance stud. And then it looks like the 9, the 8 and the 1, they're going to be looking to do battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Graham, that 2nd spot could even be a dead heat, it looks there.
It looks a dead heat between 8 Catch a Falling Star and 9 Sparkling Water. This time the speed map, I'm not going to argue too vehemently against it because although not forming one of my top 3 selections, there's no doubt that number 2 Chrome Yellow has a bit of a chance. Interesting innovation on Saturday with 12 races in the card is that we've got a jackpot races 1 to 4, we've got second jackpot races 5 to 8, and we've got the third jackpot races 9 to 12. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all maps out. So while the 10th race doesn't form part of the pick 6 or the place accumulator, there's lots up for grabs. I'm certainly in the camp of number 9, Sparkling Water. The 4-year-old daughter of Silvano, representing Mike de Kock and Samanga Kamalo in the Wilgeborst Drift colours, has exceptionally good form. She's very well treated by these weight conditions. The big question mark, of course, is she has to travel down from Cape Town, from Johannesburg to Cape Town, and Mike de Kock has made it very clear all week, chatting to various journalists. If she travels well, she wins. Simple as that. Not worried about double mint, not worried about chrome yellow, not worried about sudden star or one-way traffic. If she travels well, she wins. So I'm not as confident as that, but Sparkling Water for many, although she's quite relatively easy to back in a competitive market as you described, there's money around for double mint, there's lots of money around for one-way traffic. Big day for Nick Johnson. He's got, obviously double superlative and jet dark in the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met. He's got, in his colours, partnership with Bjorn Nelson. He's got one-way traffic in this race, and he's got to be respected. So I'm in the camp of Sparkling Water, but these 2,800 metre races often produce upsets. It's all about the pace. Atchard won this race last year, if my memory serves me correctly. So perhaps the Raider will win it again.
Raheel, how do you see the pace mapping out in this race?
I think there could be a decent pace in this lineup over 2,800 meters. Not quite sure if it will have any effect on most of the runners here. I think that Graham could be right with Sparkling Water. She is a massive runner in this lineup. She's a 4-year-old daughter of Silvano. She's been impressive to date with 5 wins and 4 seconds. Bling is riding at the top of his game. So Mike de Kock and Samang Kumalo, a combination that you have to respect. But I'm in the camp of double mint in this lineup, and I like a bit of Bayberry at an each way price of around 16 to 1 with Rachel Vinica in the saddle, neatly drawn in gate 3. So I think Bayberry must be given a mention here.
That's Raheel's pick on race number 10. Number 1, Double Mint, is a horse I give a big chance to. And Graham, isn't it wonderful that those Flaming Rock colours have been secured by Jonathan Snaith?
Absolutely fantastic. Those were the colours of Shirley Pfeiffer, who owned Flaming Rock and many other top horses. And Double Mint's win last time out was out of the top draw, but he's not always that consistent. You know, the local contingent of Double Mint, Chrome Yellow, Bayberry, Ancelatio, Sudden Star, Holy Warrior, One-Way Traffic, Catch a Falling Star, all 8 of them on any given day can beat the other. So the unknown is Sparkling Water in relation to the Highveld form, in relation to the Highveld staying form, in relation to the local staying form. But yes, I do respect Double Mint. I think this is a race that could produce a result, potentially, in terms of the third and final jackpot. So I'm going to play 2 jackpots. I'm going to bank a Sparkling Water in the one. I'm going to take the field in the other.
Now let's get down to the business end of affairs, and when we nail our colours to the mast, let's see who's going to have that high octane. And I'm going with number 1, Double Mint, to beat number 2, Chrome Yellow, number 7, One-Way Traffic, and then number 3, Bayberry, who Raheel gives a bit of a chance to at around 16 to 1. And as far as my Dlala selection bet goes, I'm going to go the boxed quartet, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 and 9, and hopefully you will be in the winner's queue. Graham, how do you see it?
Expect an invitation to lunch from Mike de Kock based on those selections. That's not going to happen. I'm in the camp of number 9, Sparkling Water. I think Mike de Kock is very confident. He has every reason to be confident. She's very well handicapped. It's a set weight race and she's very well handicapped. So she's just got to arrive in sparkling condition, and then Sparkling Water could well have her say here. But it's probably not as easy as that. 9, Sparkling Water to win it from number 1, Double Mint. Healthy respect, as you say, a very good stayer on his day. Also big respect for number 7, One-Way Traffic, and number 2, Chrome Yellow for 4th. So I'm also going with a boxed but not quartet. I'm a little less confident, so I'm going with the boxed trifecta. The pools will be big. We've got the World Pools, even on this race, 4 to 11. So there's a lot of money around. So sometimes taking the obvious can reap rewards. So I'm going with the box trifecta 1, 2, 7 and 9 as my Lala bet.
Rahil, you the up-and-coming youngster, the kid in the game. Are you going to be sipping sparkling water?
No, I'm actually in the camp of double mint like you, Sheldon. I've gone with double mint as my top choice in this lineup, followed by Chrome Yellow, who was ultra impressive after being off the track for quite some time to win last time out, beating Black Nap. So I definitely think that Chrome Yellow will be right there. Bayberry, as I mentioned, is a horse that I think you got to respect. Rachel Vinegar, she's riding extremely well at the moment, and wouldn't it be wonderful if she were to get a grade 2 in this season? So Bayberry must be a horse that you respect at, as I mentioned, 16 to 1, decent value, followed by Sparkling Water, who is the unknown over the 2,800 meter trip. So we'll see how she does go. Graham is firmly in her camp, and Mike de Kock is ultra confident on her chances. So Sparkling Water has to be respected. And for the Lala selection, I've gone with Double Mint as a win. I think that the way he won last time out suggests to me that the 2,800 won't be an issue at all. He has run once over the distance for a blank, but the way Richard Fourie is riding as well at the moment, Double Mint's perfectly drawn in gate 2. I think that he's going to go extremely close to winning.
So if Sparkling Water comes through, Rahil's tipped it back and forth. I'm going to try and improve a few places. Otherwise, I'll be in still waters come race time, and I'll be probably sitting on the couch alone at that point in time. So we'll give this one healthy respect. Now, Graham, final word from you. It's a terrific day's racing, a terrific weekend that we look forward to on the calendar.
Well, I'm certainly going to be on my own on the couch. Nobody's going to be around me. I'm going to enjoy the day from start to finish. There's a wonderful Met Day bet menu. We've got the 3 million rand Pick 6 carryover. We've got a Quartet Maxi Pool carryover to the main race, the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met of 500,000. So the Quartet Pool, we're expecting 2 million rand. The Pick 6 Pool, we're expecting 10. Races 4 to 11, all commingled into a world pool. But more than that, apart from the bet menu, the horse menu is superb. The race menu is superb. The quality of horses on show, superb. I'm going to be captivated, as I say, in my own little world, nobody around me, for the whole afternoon watching the action come through from Kenilworth Racecourse on Saturday.
Rahil, you'll be looking forward to the day's proceedings, and no doubt you'll have a keen eye on the horses. And as we say, they're the top athletes, the best of the best. They'll be taking on one another. And when you hear the trainers talking in the morning, this is what gets them up in the morning, these top horses, and it keeps them going.
Absolutely. This is what we look forward to, the feature races on the day. And Cape Town Met is one of the features that we look forward to come every year.
Well, all I can say is thanks very much to Graham Hawkins and also to Rahil. It's been a tremendous preview, and we're certainly looking to bring on Saturday, the 29th, World Sports Betting Cape Town Met, Grade 1. From all of us in studio, have a terrific and a wonderful day's racing, and hopefully profitable.